Too many parents today send their children to school the way they send their dry cleaning to the cleaners. They drop it off, expect someone else to clean it up, straighten it out, and repair whatever's wrong with it, and then return it in better condition at the end of the day. But children are not dry cleaning. They are not something parents can hand over to an institution and then expect that institution to take complete responsibility for. A school can instruct a child, a teacher can teach a lesson, a principal can establish standards, but none of them can replace a parent. A child's education does not begin when the school bus arrives. It begins in the home. Their ability to listen, follow instructions, respect adults, sit still, manage frustration, complete a task, and understand that the world does not revolve around them. All that begins in the home. By the time a child arrives in kindergarten, the child has already learned a great deal about what life is supposed to look like. They have learned whether adults mean what they say. They have learned whether rules are real. They have learned whether school is important. They have learned whether effort matters. And they've learned whether or not they can manipulate adults around them by throwing a tantrum. That's why so much of what goes wrong in the classroom today does not actually begin in the classroom. It began when too many adults decided that parenting was something or someone else's responsibility. A student arrives at school and can't follow basic instructions. He disrupts the room, talks over the teacher, curses at adults, hits other kids, refuses to do the work, and then acts shocked when there are consequences. Too often, the first question from home is not, "What did my child do?" Because that's what we got, right? The first question is, what did the teacher do to my child? Which is what I heard a lot once I got into education. Not that there aren't bad teachers, because there are. And there are weak administrators, and there are schools with ridiculously terrible discipline policies. There are. And we have every right to call those things out. But we can't pretend that a teacher can undo years of neglect, abuse, absence, inconsistency, and bad habits in just one class period. Teachers are sometimes asked to do an impossible job. They're supposed to teach reading, writing, mathematics, science, history, and all the other subjects children need to succeed. And at the same time, too many teachers are being forced to serve as surrogate parents, counselors, behavior specialists, disciplinarians, social workers, and sometimes the only adult in the child's life who's willing to say no. A teacher may have 25 or 30 kids in a classroom. That teacher can't parent your child while teaching every other child in the room. And when one child is permitted to destroy the learning environment, it is not just that child who loses, every child in that classroom loses. Now think about the quiet kid who's trying to learn. Also, think about the child who's already struggling, but making an honest effort. Think about the student who needs a teacher's help with a difficult concept, but the teacher has to spend half the class period managing that one disruptive child. Those children lose learning time that they will never, I repeat, will never get back. The teacher loses the chance to actually freaking teach. And eventually, even the disruptive child loses, because the real world is not going to reward someone for disrupting every room they enter. An employer will not reward it, a spouse will not reward it, customers will not reward it, the law certainly will not reward it. And some kids they do have real challenges. Some have learning disabilities, emotional struggles, some of them have suffered trauma. They need specialized help, patience, and a plan that meets their particular needs. They do. Those children deserve compassion, support, and the best help we can give them. But compassion does not mean surrender. A diagnosis can help us understand a child's needs. It can't become a permanent excuse for having no standards, no expectations, and no consequences. Every child needs structure. Every child needs boundary, and every child needs adults who are willing to lovingly tell them the truth. Now, the other part of this crisis, as school is bearing down on us, is academic readiness. There are children coming into kindergarten who have never been read to. They don't know their letters, basic numbers. They have a very limited vocabulary. And they have almost no practice to listening to an adult or taking turns with other children. And then we act surprised when they begin school behind and struggle to catch up. Now, this is not about shaming parents. You don't need a teaching degree to read to your child every night. You don't need to be wealthy to make sure they have pencils, papers, and a bedtime and a quiet place to do homework. You don't need to be an expert in algebra to ask, did you finish your homework? Let me see it. Because parents are the first teachers. Before a child enters a school building, he or she is learning from the adults at home. Children learn how to speak by listening to us. They learn how to treat people by watching us. They learn how to handle anger, disappointment, disagreement by watching us. If parents constantly tell their children that teachers are idiots, that school is pointless, and rules are unfair, and every consequence is somebody else's fault, then those children will carry that attitude into the classroom. But when parents say, we may not always agree with every decision at the school, but you will respect the adults there. You will do your work, and you will tell the truth about what happened. That child gets a completely different message. That message is that education matters. That message is that authority matters. That message is that responsibility matters. That message is that this child is not a victim. Every time an adult corrects them, we have raised too many children that believe that being corrected is an attack, and that being disciplined is oppression, and that being expected to do hard things is somehow unfair. It is not unfair. It is preparation for life. I want to say something directly to the dads. Dads, listen to me. Dad, you matter. Dad, you matter. Your presence matters. Your attention matters. Your discipline matters. Your encouragement. They all matter. A dad does not have to be perfect, rich, or highly educated to be involved in his child's education. You just need to show up, man. You just need to know the teacher's name. You need to check their grades. Ask what happened at school today. He needs to know who his child's friends are. He needs to make it clear that attendance, respect, and effort are not optional. There's a lie in our culture that says fathers are optional. That is a lie. And our children are paying the price for it. Now, mothers matter just as deeply. The consistency of a mother, the expectations she sets, the stability that she creates, and the attention she gives can shape a child's entire future. And that's not about producing a picture-perfect television family. No, it's about adults accepting the responsibility that comes with bringing a child into the world. Children need somebody who loves them enough to say, you are going to school, and you are going to be on time, and you're going to respect your teacher, and you're going to do the work. And when you get in trouble, we are going to find out the truth before I take your side automatically. The truth. The difference, if I may, between then and now is that then, if you were in trouble at school, if you had to take a note home, or that was always terrible, or your parents got a phone call from your teacher, 8:00 at night, you were in trouble. You were in trouble because you got a phone call. You were in trouble. And if they got a phone call at work and they had to come see about you, yes, fair or not, you were guilty. How many people who are watching this face that sort of guilt? A lot of us did. Now, parents should be absolutely involved in their schools as much as they can. They should know what their kids are being taught. They should attend school board meetings if you can. I know it's hard. You work all day, and then that random Thursday you got to go sit at a school board meeting. Yes. Yes. They should challenge political indoctrination, dangerous policies, and low expectations. If somebody says your child can't meet the standards and starts giving this litany of socioeconomic reasons why they can't meet those standards, you push against that hard. And any effort to keep the parents in the dark, that too is parental responsibility. But being involved, a parent, is not the same thing as defending your child no matter what your child did. Not the same. Sometimes the strongest thing a parent can say is, my child was wrong. We'll deal with it at home. Teachers remember those parents. Schools function better because of those parents. Most importantly, children grow better because of those parents. Now, we can spend money on schools if we can create new programs, hire more consultants, publish more reports, and hold more meetings, but no government program can replace an engaged parent. No school reform can fully succeed when the home is chaotic, and nobody is willing to address it. The answer is not to give up on children. The answer is to call adults back to the job. Read with your children. We read Are You My Mother? To he was 3 and 4, I guess. We read that book every night. Why? Because he wanted to read that book every night. He got really good. I think he had it memorized, because if you tried to skip a page, no, he grabbed that page and go, oh no. Anybody else went through that? Mm-mm. You left something out. Are You My Mother? Whew. Every night. That was important. Check their work. Especially when they're young. You can do the math. You can do the spelling words. Check them. Know who their friends are. Limit the distractions. Whatever those distractions are. A lot of distractions come from screen time now. That's a big deal. Limit it. Make them go to bed. It is not okay for a 7-year-old to be up at 1 o'clock in the morning and have to go to school at 7. That's not okay. Make them go to bed. Make them get up. Make them go to school. Teach them manners and respect. And teach them that a bad grade is not the end of the world. But quitting is not an option. Teach them that education is not something done to them by a school system. It's something they must participate in. Something their family must support. And something that will shape the rest of their lives. My name is Willie Lawson. This has been the Morning Report. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.